What's up, Raider Nation? Ryan Miller here, and things are heating up. John Spytek just opened his mouth, and what he said is absolutely jaw-dropping. Do we finally have a real blueprint, or are we handing over the keys to the kingdom to someone who's never led an army? Klint Kubiak isn't just the play caller anymore, he's officially the architect of our future. And if you think our defense is set, wait until you hear the disastrous math the GM just dropped regarding our secondary. Buckle up and hit that like button, because today has been wild and I am not sugarcoating anything. Hold everything. If you thought Klint Kubiak came to Las Vegas just to draw up routes and choose between a run or a pass, you've been played. The explosive news is that John Spytek has given Kubiak total control over roster construction. The guy just got here, built a coaching staff with decades of experience, and now he's calling the shots on who stays and who goes in the 2026 draft. Here's the deal. Last week's draft meetings weren't just led by scouts. Kubiak was the one setting the direction. Spytek made it clear. It doesn't matter what the personnel department thinks in a vacuum. What matters is who fits Klint's system. This is a massive shift, guys. Kubiak is wielding a level of influence that very few coordinators in NFL history have ever seen. He's not just inheriting players, he's ordering the parts. The immediate impact? The Raiders draft now has Kubiak DNA written all over it. If he wants a specific QB, keep an eye on Mendoza. He's going to get him. If he wants an offensive line that moves a certain way, Spytek is going to go find it. The GM literally said the focus was identifying the 10 best players for the Raiders through the lens of this new staff. Now my take, this is both brilliant and terrifying at the same time. On one hand, we finally stopped the nonsense of signing players that the coach doesn't know how to use. On the other hand, we are putting our entire future, including that ultra-valuable #1 overall pick, into the hands of a guy who still has to prove he can resurrect a franchise that's only won 7 games in the last 2 seasons. The word behind the scenes is that Kubiak wants to rebuild from the top down. He knows the process takes years, but the pressure in 2026 is going to be hellish. Fans are done with transition years. If Kubiak has this much power, the bill for any failure will be his to pay too. He built the staff, he chose the scheme, and now he's picking the players. This is Team Kubiak now. Either we take flight immediately, or the crash will be the biggest in league history. The rebuild has started, but the risk is exactly as big as the power they've given him. If Kubiak's influence gave you some hope, hold on to this defensive bombshell to balance your mood. GM John Spytek decided to say the quiet part out loud and admitted the obvious. Our safety room is a desert. He said in plain English that we only have 3 safeties on the roster and that it's just a math equation that needs an immediate solution. Translation from GM speak: we're desperate, and everyone in the league knows it. The situation is critical, nation. We have Tristan McCollum, who was just retained, but let's be real. He's a depth piece, not the guy who's going to save us from the high-powered passing attacks in the AFC West. The real problem is that Jeremy Chin and Isaiah Pola-Mao, who are supposed to be our anchors, are liabilities in coverage. Pola-Mao gave up 3 touchdowns and over 200 yards last year. Chin? 4 touchdowns allowed. These guys are solid in the box and they hit hard, but if an opposing QB goes deep, you better pray the receiver trips because our guys aren't getting there in time. Spytek already warned that they are going to attack this position in the draft. He's happy that the 2026 safety class looks deep, but here's the controversy. The team has only met with 5 safeties so far. 5. And one of them is Caleb Downs, who we only land if we pull off some crazy trade back into the top of the first round, which isn't happening. We're looking at Traden Stukes and Kamari Ramsey, guys expected to go between the 2nd and 4th rounds. My problem is this: how do you get this close to the draft, admit you have a massive hole in the roster, and then only talk to 5 guys at the position? This either reeks of amateur hour, or it's a very poorly executed smokescreen. We have to leave this draft with at least 2 safeties who can actually cover, or we're going to watch Kirk Cousins, if he's the one under center, have to put up 40 points a game just for us to have a prayer. Spytek showed his cards, exposed the wound, and now the pressure is on. If we don't land an elite cover safety in rounds 2 or 3, our secondary is going to be a highway in 2026. It's scary to hear a GM admit the roster is this thin with the clock about to start ticking. The bottom line is simple. Kubiak is running the show on offense, and Spytek admitted our defense is a black hole at the safety position. We are living through the most decisive moment of the decade for the Raiders. Now, I want to see the heat in the comments. With John Spytek publicly admitting the lack of safeties, do you think he shot himself in the foot and gave our rivals leverage, or was this a masterstroke to hide who he's really targeting? Drop a comment below because I'm reading everything. Just win, baby!